Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Eidolon Wall, and thank you for coming to the Eidolon Wall. Um, and yeah, it's hard to believe that I'm at 10 episodes now, or 11 now, technically. And yeah, and so I want to thank you guys for everyone who watches the episodes. I want to thank you guys for watching them. It really does mean a lot, and I do appreciate it. And yeah, and today is because it's Spooktober as well. It's the month of spooks. I decided why not delve into the black arts themselves, the dark magic themselves itself, and why not talk about the black mages of Final Fantasy. A very common class in Final Fantasy. It's been they've been in many games in some shape or form, and they've become a favorite of many people. A favorite of many people. One of my guests that I have today also loves black mages, and yeah, we shall hear for his opinion as well. Because joining me, guys, is I got some peak guests joining me today, and yeah, we can let's introduce them, and and yeah, we can get this ball rolling. But yeah, guys, I have here with me the guests I have today. I have my friend and mod T Shaw 1467, one of my
Hello.
best friends on this platform, and an all round great guy. And yeah, so welcome in, T Shaw.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm gonna start crying.
And yeah, so and obviously feel free to if for those who don't know who you are, please obviously feel free to to say tell who you are on that. T. Oh yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
You're fine.
I'm just sending my usual message. Just yeah. Hi, hello, bonjour. I'm T Shaw, or you can call me T. Just whatever you want. I stream games. Some good, some bad. Uh, and frogs are the are the end all. I don't know. I don't know. I just frogs. That is it. That is all. That is all.
Yeah, he's not quite awake yet. But yeah, that is T Shaw. For those who don't know him, yeah, like I said, he's an awesome dude and that. And we also have another guest as well, a more recent friend that I met recently, early this year. For his first time on my podcast, please give it up for Landy of the Landy Lodge, who also does his own podcast of the same name. So please go and check him out as well. I did give him a shout out earlier, so please go and check him out if you want to see his content as well. But yes, hello, Andy. Welcome in, buddy.
What is going on? Thank you for having me. I've been really excited to have this conversation. Love to go sicko mode. For those who may not have heard of me, I got a podcast of my own where we talk Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, RPGs, sometimes some anime. If you just like to goof off and, indulge in a little escapism, I'm your guy.
So yes, please go and check out both of these guys. They are amazing dudes. But yes, guys, looking at the chat as well, we have Landy and T-Shaw popping in say hello in chat, but we also have our mod, we have Queen Mod Valk. Hello, Valk, welcome in. And hey, Rap4, good to see you, buddy. Yep, you're just in time. But yes, guys, like I said, today, because it's Spooktober, we're going to talk about the Black Mages, one of the original classes in Final Fantasy, actually, because when you start up Final Fantasy 1, you get the choice of 6 classes. One of those being the Black Mage. A lot of people use the Black Mage as one of their classes because it's the first Final Fantasy. You're testing out the waters and stuff like that. And throughout the series, the Black Mages have become more prevalent, where in some shape or form, whether it's characters can wield black magic or you have a specific character. And yeah, today we're going to talk about some of those characters, like and black magic in the games and how it's evolved and such like that. And we are gonna answer that question of who is the most powerful black mage. I'm going to discuss that. Yeah. So first off, we'll start with you, Landy. What was your first opinion of black mages when you first played Final Fantasy, and which game was
I
it as well? Sorry.
Gotcha. No, you're good. So I've always been drawn to the Black Mage class or anything that really orbits it. Like a lot of my favorite characters from Final Fantasy games, or among my favorites, end up being Black Mages. Y'shtola, Vivi, Lulu come to mind. Three of my favorite characters in the whole series. The thing is, though, I feel like not just Black Mage has evolved over the years, but I think Magic in Final Fantasy has started to evolve in the sense you do have characters like Y'shtola who aren't necessarily a Black Mage, is more a conjurer who adapted Black Mage magics into their move set. So you almost, as you get further into the series, you almost have sort of these hybrid classes, or you have a game like FF7 where depending on the materia you give someone can dictate their class. That said, it's probably my favorite class other than maybe Samurai in RPGs, but I think there's a lot of debate to be had today, and I think even some of our favorite Black Mages may end up being one of the weakest, but I'll save that for when we go off.
Yeah, of course, of course. And what about you, T? What was your first impression of Black Mages? And obviously, if you feel free to tell us what the your first discovery of Black Mages was in the series.
So yeah, Black mages are cool. Just like anything, just even outside of like Final Fantasy, like like wizards and like sorcerers and stuff like that. Just I've always just found like people who conjure magic just being so cool.
Oh yeah.
And but I guess just having that same yeah, just the Final Fantasy and wizards and all that. So I don't know. It's just cool to me. And I'll be honest. The first time I played Final Fantasy 1, I actually didn't have a Black Mage or a dedicated Black Mage on my roster. I did a Red Mage instead.
Oh, okay.
So, it's funny. I had a Red Mage and a White Mage dedicated, and I didn't have a Black Mage.
No, that's fair.
And but the first Final Fantasy that I completed was 10, and of course Lulu is the dedicated Black Mage.
Yeah.
In 10, and just she was just very viable, and just I really like Lulu. So.
Oh yeah, Lulu is definitely a very prominent example of Black Mages in the series as well, and yeah, as like you said as well, they've been a thing since the very first Final Fantasy, and you may some of you may go do what follow T-Shaw's example, and you may not have a Black Mage, you prefer a Red Mage, and that's fine. But yeah, Black Mage is definitely always shown to be a powerful character, especially with the spells they can get. Because black magic has, and like Landy said, black magic has changed throughout the series. It's not always been just fire, blizzard, thunder. Other spells have been added to it. Now you've got poison. Now you've got bio. You've got quake is now a quake has been considered a black magic in certain games, and even time magic like stop and slow has been considered black magic at some point as well. And of course, and black mages, they're and some of the spells they make it so they're able to sustain themselves very very well with the inclusion of the very powerful Osmos spell. But yeah, like in the first Final Fantasy, we can first get treated to this. We can first get treated to this, and we see how powerful it is, because a lot of the enemies in the first Final Fantasy are elemental based, and so it gives us a good grasp of it. Like especially the four guardians. You got the four guardians of crystals. They're all based on element, and it helps you adapt yourself to the elemental weakness as well. And a fun bit of trivia for you guys as well. Although you in the first Final Fantasy you get to name your characters, the manga of the localization of the manga of Final Fantasy 1 does in fact actually give the Black Mage an actual name. And I believe if I'm remembering it right, the name they give is Daewoo. They give the name as Daewoo of the Black Mage. And a lot of fans consider that canon. There's been a lot of debate about whether that is canon or not, but it's the same for all the other classes as well. They all have their own names, and yeah. But Daewoo is considered the Black Mage, is it? And but talking about Final Fantasy 1, where it all starts. Sorry, I'm just getting my train of thought. But yeah, like the Black Mage is shown to be a good character, and then of course, you get to Bahamut in the first game. You get to Bahamut, you get the Rat's Tail, and he upgrades classes. to where the Black Mage, like with its magic, it evolves and becomes a Black Wizard, or in some games it'll become a Black Magus, depending on the game you're playing. And yeah, it's proven to be a very powerful character, a very powerful class. And like we said earlier as well, like many games have a dedicated Black Mage. Like you had Landy and both Landy and Tisha have mentioned Lulu. But a lot of the Black Mages all do different things as well. Because for example, you've got Vivi who uses focus. But you've then got his trance, which they use as double black magic. And so there's definitely a lot of variety with Black Mages there's a lot of variety with Black Mages and the stuff they can do as well. But yeah, aside from these guys though, if you guys had to pick a Black Mage who's like your favorite in the series though, who would you pick? What about you, Tisha? Who's your favorite?
Honestly, I have two favorites personally. Vivi and Renoa. Personally, Vivi because Vivi's best boy, and the fact that he has very, very, very busted spells. And the fact that return magic too is a thing. Like, I mean, anyone can get return magic, but just like doesn't Vivi get that like naturally? I think
no.
Doesn't he get
Vivi's the first one that I believe Vivi's the first one that can get it with equipment wise and that. But yeah, he is.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's the first one that can get it, and yeah, it is powerful.
Okay, yeah, just Vivi's best boy. He's very powerful. But yeah, I don't know. With 8 being my favorite, I just kind of have a soft spot for Renoa, and just the fact that she literally has the sorceress's power in her. It's just, and just like 8, being dedicated, or like just the sorceresses of the past, like Ultimecia, Adele, like just. I don't know, just that power that's just been going on like through time immemorial. Just it is also in Renoa as well, or passed to Renoa as well. I don't know, just kind of
No, Renoa. Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say, yeah, and with her limit break as well, Renoa could be very considered the Black Mage as well, because with her Angel Wings limit break, she does get access to like spells that she may not even have as well, and she will just use them like winning that. But yeah, no, Renoa could, and I've seen a lot of people use Renoa mainly as the Black Mage anyway as well. What about you, Landy? Who would you say is your favorite Black Mage in the series?
Okay, I'm going to split it into two. My favorite dedicated Black Mage, and this will be contextual for later, is Lulu. I absolutely love Lulu, and not just for her Black Mage abilities. I actually love her story arc, and I actually love a warrior like her who learns to leave it all behind to pursue a normal life, because that's what she really wanted after Yuna's pilgrimage was finished.
Yeah.
So I actually love Lulu for that. The world of Final Fantasy could use some more moms and dads. So
yeah, definitely.
I just and what's crazy about Lulu, she has this. That's the other thing too, is like looks can be deceiving, and in a way that kind of makes her a witch in and of itself. You look at her and you see this very intimidating, sort of brooding like woman, but then you get to know her and like she's such a softie on the inside. I think it's when you're in maybe it's when you're near the Luca Theater. There's like this scene in FF10 where like kids go running off and you could talk to your party members. And like most of them are like annoyed by all the noise and stuff. But if you talk to Lulu, she just giggles and goes, "Kids."
Yeah.
Like, like her future was foreshadowed so early. People think it was a pivot to make room for Pain, when it's like, no. And I love Pain, by the way, FF10 too. But it's like, no, that was always there. Lulu's just such a character with a lot of depth, even beyond her Black Mage ability. So I've always had an affinity for her. However, my favorite Black Mage in the series, non-dedicated and as a whole, is 100% Y'shtola. I absolutely love and adore Y'shtola. I think she's in desperate need of a second character arc in FF14. But that first sort of character arc with I won't spoil it for anyone, but the extents she's willing to go through,
Oh, yeah.
the sacrifices she's willing to make, and for any Kingdom Hearts fans out there, the taboos she's willing to commit to save and help her friends is nothing short of inspiring. So, Y'shtola and Lulu, honorable mention for Vivi. And just to throw a couple honorable mentions out there too, who might come up later. Golbez is another one.
Yeah.
Makes a great villain. And Shantoto from FF11 and Dissidia, where people might be familiar. But yeah, Y'shtola and Lulu, my top two.
Oh no, great choices, and you touched on a very good point as well. Like, because like you said with Kingdom Hearts, you got all these people going about how Sora broke taboo with Power Waking. That Y'shtola did that and 10 times more. Like, yeah, she did that and 10 times more. Like, she pretty much almost rewrote the physics of. No, she pretty much rewrote the Aetherius of Final Fantasy of Eorzea itself with with taboo she did. But yeah, and it's not even just that as well. Another honorable mention we could go through is, and he's more of a sage character, but he has been seen to use black magic. Lushua from 14. Lushua from 14. Not many people may know him because he gets mentioned in the story and that, but you don't really see him until outside flashbacks and that. But for those who don't know him, when Final Fantasy XIV was first released, before they shut down the servers, Lushua was the leader of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, and he is the one that when Bahamut broke apart. And this was me on my bad day, so please don't judge me. When Bahamut broke apart and was attacking the world at Eorzea, Lushua was the one who not only did he defend the Eorzea against Bahamut's attacks, thus sacrificing his life as well as seeing up Bahamut, because he died during that battle, but because of his sacrifice and what he was, and his magic and his utter power of his magic, he was able to protect Eorzea, seal Bahamut away, and even though Eorzea got destroyed in the process, he was able to remake it with the forbidden spell that he did, putting his entire power and being into that single spell and and the realm was reborn because of his power. So he's definitely he's definitely a mage that could be considered Black Mage. The only reason I won't consider him the most powerful is because he's not a Black Mage entirely. He's more of a sage. And that was more of a what he did then was more of like a white kind of magic, like a holy kind of thing. But in the original Final Fantasy 2014, he was seen doing some black magic as well. So he's definitely someone we consider as well. But yeah, and it's like black magic is because how magic works in Final Fantasy. It varies from game to game, but one thing always remains the same with black mages is you have the 4 elements, and the black mages obviously use the 4. Well, they use the 3 elements because water wasn't a usable spell until Final Fantasy 9. No, until Final Fantasy 8. Until Final Fantasy 8, I believe. It wasn't a usable spell until Final Fantasy 8. So they have 4 elements, but the elements they were using throughout the series, obviously, you have the 4 crystals, of fire, earth, and water, and all that. It's with how magic works, black mages, it can be said that they actually tap into the power of the crystals that goes around the world as well. Thus adding into just how powerful and mystical they are, because again, they are tapping into the magic of the world itself, the magic of the very essence of the world. They're tapping into it to use these spells, and it definitely gives them that connection that they have with the world that they're in more than any other class, more than any other character, except maybe Geomancer. They've got more of a connection with the very essence of the world they're in. But what's your take on it, Landy? What's your take on the possibility that black mages are using the essence of the world as part of their magic?
Well, I don't know if there's an official lore book that Final Fantasy follows on that. I mean, a lot of this can be traced back to tabletop games like D&D. But I always kind of, I kind of like the mysticism of it. And I always kind of, in my brain, separate mages into 2 classes. Like you have an elemental mage who can wield, like you said, the elements of the earth, tapping into that, the fire, the earth,
Yeah.
the water. And then there's like celestial mages, ones who more tap into light, dark, gravity, time. And again, black mages can tap into both, but I've always really sort of found it interesting, those two sort of like subclasses of magic, right? Like you have these like earth-based magics, which are the elements, and then you have these sort of celestial-based magics, which are things like light, dark, time, and gravity. And it's something like T. Shaw said at the beginning of the episode, is like, it's just cool to watch characters wield these kinds of powers. Like, it's for no other reason than it's just cool to watch. Not that swords and guns and a bow and arrow or a lance or a horseback knight isn't cool, but there's just something extra cool about watching a person wield that sort of, like, again, like you kind of conceptualized it, Bahamut, like the magics, the essence of the earth itself. There's something cool about that, there's for lack of a better term,
Oh yeah. There's and the whole thing about like the two separate splits and that of celestial magic elements, like that's definitely something that it can be touched upon as well, like because it's something that not a lot of people think about, that there's basically two different types of black magic, and it's the same with white magic, but obviously we'll talk about, well, we can get into a different episode, but and there's definitely a lot of like there's definitely a lot of like things that can be said on either side of different types of magic, because both are powerful and both are uses, both tap into the essence of the world itself. What about you, T-Shaw? What's your take on the whole mysticism of black mages tapping into the essence of the world for their magic?
Honestly, I can see just like them just tapping into like the reserves of like the crystal's power, like of course like just like of course the basic fire, earth, water, and air, but just a thought that that kind of hit me as well was just if I'm remembering correctly, in FF5, when the crystals were being shattered, like the essence of the world, like like
it was disappearing.
Yeah, it was disappearing. And when Ferris's why am I forgetting his name?
You mean her
the shit
Sildra?
Yeah, Sildra, just when like the wind stopped moving, but you were still able to use magic, like as the crystals were being destroyed, the mages were still being able to cast like their elements, like so I feel like to an extent, like it does it does like, or like they do draw power from the crystals, but it could also be in the inherent magical power of the wielder themselves, like because maybe like the crystal's essence like resides inside of those who are able to cast magic. And I don't know. It was just a thought that I had, but I feel like throughout just the entire series, I feel like that they do call upon just the crystal for
that's completely
power.
fair. Yeah, it's completely fair, and it's like, and you touched upon a good thing there as well, like with Final Fantasy V, because as the crystals are get shattered by Exdeath and that, the world does start losing its thing. The wind crystal gets shattered. The wind stops blowing. The earth crystal shattered, so the earth starts dying and decaying. Like water, like the water crystal. The water, like the seas rise and that, like, and so a lot of stuff gets like sunken and that. So so you've touched on a very good thing there, and like. And it definitely adds in with the Black Mage as well, because they have that connection with. It could be said that they have that connection with the world, with their black magic. Like, I think it was Kryl, who she could like kind of like feel the world. Like she could kind of like feel the world, even if it's only like a small thing. She could have like that little thing of, like something's happening and that. And even like, with Y'shtola, who Landy mentioned earlier, she had that connection where she could feel like the life stream of Eorzea, because of her magic or her connection to her, like her magic, her talent for magic. So black mages, yeah, definitely there. They're definitely in touch with the essence of the world and the crystals. Like they or at least it's shown in a lot of games. Like there's at least some connection to the world. And like what T-Shaw said as well, yeah, a lot of the mage, a lot of, it could also be a lot of the innate magic inside black mages as well. A good example being Vivi. You know, he's a small black mage. Yeah, he was granted he was created. Spoilers for FF9. Sorry, but yeah, granted Vivi was he was created, so he's not like naturally born of the world. But his magic, the magic that he was gifted, is technically connected to the world. So yeah, there have been moments where Vivi, it definitely seemed like Vivi could like feel like just feel certain things with the world, like maybe disturbances and such like that, and it upset him and that. But yeah, black mages I would say they definitely have some sort of connection to the earth, and and something I'm gonna touch on something Landy said as well, like which I'm add on to as well. The whole like light and darkness being part of Celestial Mages and that. It's also a very cool thing as well because like with a lot of stuff, Final Fantasy does a lot of the theme of light and darkness, in some shape or form. And you could even say Black Mages were an influence for Riku from Kingdom Hearts as well, because Black Mages are more, but them being dark, using dark magic, they're seen as they're a contrast to the white mages, the restorative magic, the healing support magic, the life magic, and one of the spells of black mages, being death, they have the death spell, so they could literally cause death. So that, then this makes them a nice a contrast to the white mages, in the fact that they help. You could say that if they are in touch with the world's essence, and we could say the white mages are in touch with the world's essence as well. Like you got Aerith, for example, from FF7. She is, she is with her limit break. She's the dedicated white mage of that game. There's no real argument about that. I mean, she's definitely the dedicated white mage. And her being an ancient, she has that connection with the light, the life stream. She can feel the life. She can hear the whispers of life. And black mages, it could be said that, they also have that sort of thing, but more possibly in a death kind of thing, because and with them the death spell, they could be, you could see them as a symbolize, they could symbolize the darkness of the world, light and darkness, white and black, they're working together to to maintain the magic of the world, to maintain the essence of the world. And so black mages, they definitely always, definitely play a more of a part than people realize in the world. They can play more of a part than we realize. Especially again, if we go on about the whole, if they do tap into the essence of the world. And yeah, and so yeah, a lot of black mages, like I said earlier as well, they do have their own abilities apart of other than just black magic as well. Because like I mentioned Vivi and Lulu, Lulu's got her her overdrive, where she does the multicast. But one thing that there's one ability that Vivi gets in 9 that no other black mage has gotten, and that is the ability for him to bypass reflect with his spells. Any spell, he can bypass reflect with it. And not just that, he can bypass reflect, and he can also double the damage of his spells that are reflected off his allies onto enemies. So there's definitely like black mages, it definitely can be said that there's a speciality to black mages. I would say definitely again, me being biased, I would say definitely the whole reflect thing for Vivi is definitely my favorite speciality of black mage. It gives him gives him that power, that sense of he is an almighty mage. You have no real defense against his magic. And yeah, but what about you? What about you, Landy? What's your favorite black mage mechanic that you that you would say is specific to that black mage?
It's funny you asked that, and I wonder if we're almost inadvertently answering the question of the title topic here. But my favorite is, again, we're going to go back to our man Vivi here. I love his ability to take some of the black mage elements and power up his party members with it.
Yeah, because he can power up Steiner.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Like I'll never forget being a young kid and lighting up Steiner's blade with fire using Vivi and being like, "Oh, we haven't gone this deep before." And again, there
Yeah.
have been like party assist sort of mechanics at the time, but like as a kid and FF9 being one of my first FFs, it just kind of stuck with me, and it was like, okay, now this feels less like everybody gets a turn and go attack. And that one simple mechanic made the whole party feel more like a team. More like a team. Like, oh man, every time Vivi's in the party, I gotta have Steiner. And like you almost create these matchups to organize your party around. Yeah, just that ability in particular, and maybe I'm missing some off the top of my head, but any sort of ability where the Black Mage almost becomes an assist character. Not that they aren't a great DPS, full frontal assault type of damage, but when they can pivot into being an assist character that can power up its allies. Those sort of Black Mage mechanics, particularly the ones with VV and FF9, those are my favorite. Because then it's just like, now the Black Mage is multi-dimensional. They're not just there to rack up damage.
Oh yeah. That ability of Vivi is great. Like when I first saw like Steiner use like Fire Sword, I was like, wait, what? And then just
I was like, oh, we're doing it. We're doing it.
yeah, like just you can basically you can turn Steiner from just a knight into a rune knight, a spell. He's a spell sword. It's like,
bro, if Cloud had VV, we would have never had to have even left Midgar.
Hell
We
yeah,
would have just solved all our problems right there.
hell yeah. Cloud would have, yeah. But what about you, T-Shaw? What would you say is your favorite specific mechanic to a Black Mage?
Honestly, I gotta agree with Landy here. Just just the fact that Vivi, it becomes like a supportive excuse me, like a supportive like Black Mage, and just powering up Steiner and just some of the abilities he has. And also I learned a fun fact the other day about one of this it is relevant to the topic, but kind of not at the same time. Anyways, with the sword magic that Steiner has, in FF9, there's a glitch that if Steiner uses the Thunder Sword or Thunder Slash rather, it will never hit. It will never ever hit. It has it has a 0% hit accuracy.
Yeah, that glitch.
I thought that
Yeah.
In all these years, I thought I just sucked at it.
Yeah, that glitch is terrible. It's terrible.
It's just funny because, like, Beatrix can use it, but Steiner can't.
Well,
he misses every time.
I almost wonder if that's intentional then.
Yeah, that might be intentional because they are more of Beatrix's attacks.
That would be pretty funny if it was.
They are more of Beatrix's attacks, definitely.
And they sort of like Steiner and Beatrix always like mirrored each other in a way. Like they're almost like a mirror of one another in a lot of different ways. So
yeah,
and she does have a way of making Steiner feel a little inadequate. That's a little bit part of it too. So having an ability that she just absolutely rages with, and one that he can't hit, that's par for the course.
Oh yeah, and it's funny thing about that as well. So yeah. It's funny about that as well is with that as well, it's actually Lanny's just had to mute for a bit, but that's fine. That's no worries. He can obviously chime in when he's unavailable. When he's available, so that's fine. But it's kind of funny that Lanny said that as well because Beatrix and Steiner, and this is related to the topic as well. Steiner being able to use sword magic because of Eevee actually does make it so Beatrix and Steiner are in fact mirrored in more ways than one, because Beatrix is the paladin of the game. She's the paladin. She's the one who can use white magic, as well as sword skills. She's the one who can use sword skills and white magic. With Steiner, he is basically become the Fell Knight. He's using black magic along with his things. So there's that contrast of light and dark. Steiner's become the Dark Knight, kind of Fell Knight kind of thing, Shadow Knight, and then you got Beatrix as the Paladin. So it's not just the fact that BV helps Steiner get some more attack power in battle. He pretty much helped Steiner become an entire new class itself. Like a class that. isn't actually officially a class in Final Fantasy until Final Fantasy Tactics, where we got Fell Knight as a class. And so he basically changes Steiner's entire gameplay just by supporting him with that. And it's funny you also said about the Spurs, the Thunder Sword missing as well, T. One cool thing I love as well that also helps towards the kind of stuff Black Mages can do. Like Lanny said, this is unintentionally possibly answering the question. But when Vivi powers up Steiner's sword magic it's not affected by Reflect. It's not affected by Reflect at all. So it's basically it's also Vivi helping Steiner basically just literally cut through Reflect. So it's Vivi using basically unintentionally using his Reflect no ability, in a way. So yeah, so there's definitely and a lot of Black Mage. So there's definitely a lot of things. It shows that Black Mages definitely have a lot more power than just using the elements or stuff like that, or causing status effects. There's those other effects that you don't really think about until you you really stop and think, oh, okay, hang on, that's actually a thing. And it's not even not even the elemental spells. You've got spells like Bio, which does 9 damage. They get access to spells that in other games are broken spells that you can't use in like you got Meteor. They get access to Meteor. They get access to Comet. They get access to Flare, which is the most powerful Black Mage spell depending on the game, because sometimes Ultima is a Black Mage spell. But yeah, it just goes to show that Black Mages definitely have a lot of power. And through the games, this has definitely evolved and changed as more Black Mage spells got added. Like in later games, Sap got put as a Black Mage spell. Sap got put as a Black Mage spell, and then you've got even in other games where it isn't classed as Black Magic, or it doesn't seem like Black Magic. Like you got Final Fantasy 13 where the l'Cie they can use magic. And while everyone can use these spells, they can learn these roles. Only certain characters actually like get the Ravager job role, which is the magic role, as their starting one. Some of them are commandos, some of them are like healers or sentinels. So like it's definitely where just like, yeah, again, Black Mages evolve, like it's not always so like just obvious now, like it's a lot more intricate now, like and again with l'Cie, they've been given the magic gift onto them by the gods, which also can help towards the Black Mages being linked to the worlds as well. But yeah, like it's just and it's like Lanny said, like with the Black Mages, being the support roles and that as well. Like even if it's just even if it's not directly supporting allies, they can also support quite easy as well, because I mentioned Osmos, for example. Osmos, Black Mages can drain the MP from their enemies, and this would help their allies who wouldn't have to worry about the magic so much. So Black Mages definitely have a lot of variety of things they can do. And even the weapons themselves as well, like the change for the series. And usually you had like Black Mages, they were using like staffs, they were using rods, and then they were able to use. Then they moved up to being able to use daggers and chain flails and that. And then of course we have Lulu as the most iconic, where she uses a puppet. Essentially, she uses a voodoo doll, which, well, like Landy said, with her witch kind of look, it adds in with the whole witch look. She's got like a doll which she uses for curses and that, in a way, she could say. But yeah, Black Mages are definitely there's definitely a lot of nuance to them, a lot of atmosphere to them. So I'm trying to get my chain of thought. It's been a day. But yeah, there's a lot that can be said about it, and and even in later games, you've got Clive Redfield, for example. No, Clive Rossfield, not Redfield. Jesus, he's not Resident Evil.
wrong series, man.
Yeah. Although it would be great to see him in Resident Evil. That would be funny, just see him just use Bahamut or Ifrit just to nuke the zombies, you know. It's like, I'm not getting that mansion. I'm gonna destroy the mansion. Just but yeah, like, with Clive Rossfield, like, him using black magic in the icons he can summon and that. And so yeah, it definitely, again, it shows that, the black mages have definitely changed. And it's not even just like in the gameplay wise as well. Like Landy said, like you both have said, there's that awe behind it as well. Being able to, anyone can, like, just pick a sword character, go unga bunga, like, and just hit things with a stick. But being able to, like, basically manipulate the elements, basically control the essence of the world, is definitely a lot more, like, there's a lot, like, of that can be a very, it's very impressive, like, you as a kid, you think, okay, they're actually doing this. And there's definitely some of the feats in there as well. And of course, in some of the games as well, black magic also plays a part in the stories as well. In Final Fantasy 2, you had Meteor. You had Minwu learning Meteor and Ultima, or you had Tella and I think it was Rydia. I think you got it as well. Might have been Rydia. Yeah, who could use Meteor? The strongest black magic in that game. So there's definitely a lot of there's a link to the story in that. Of course, the most favorites, not the most well known is, the Black Mages in Final Fantasy 9, where they're intrinsically linked to the story because of, how Kuja uses them, and of course with Vivi, they're a big, massive part of his arc. And one thing to note as well is that throughout the series, Black Mages have become less and less recognizable. They're there, but they don't have the traditional, like, look of a Black Mage, like, they don't have that traditional look, like, obviously Vivi has a traditional look, which looks like a traditional Black Mage, it's a throwback. But you guys, who would you say is your, like, or you got Y'shtola, for example, in 14, where she gets, like, her black dress and that, and when she's, like, mastered the elements and that. But who would you guys say, what's your favorite design of the Black Mages, and of, that have how it's changed in the series? What about you, T?
Oh, that's that's hard, honestly. Because honestly, all the Black Mages, excuse me, all the Black Mage designs are really cool and unique in their own way. But yeah, just like you said, I've noticed that they've just kind of strayed away from that traditional, like, wizard or sorcerer type look, and just they kind of have, like, a darker outfit, maybe like a hat or something like that, and just gosh, to say who my favorite one is, I mean, other than Vivi, I love Vivi. But just other than that, I can't really say, because Renoa doesn't really have a dedicated, like, just Black Mage outfit. It's just the same outfit, or you just I do really like Tella's outfit. Well, he was a sage. He wasn't necessarily a Black Mage.
Yeah, Rydia was the dedicated Black Mage in Final Fantasy 4. And which one was it? I think
was Fusoya also as well a dedicated Black Mage, or was he also a sage?
Yeah, I think he was a sage. I can't remember the twins' name. I think it was Porum. I think was the Black Mage. I think Porum was the boy.
Oh yeah, Porum and Pollum.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, Porum. I think Porum was the boy. I think.
I think so. I don't know. I think just. Yeah, I can't really say, like, which one is my favorite, because they're all unique in their own way.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just maybe just a little bit more biased towards Vivi, because Vivi's best boy.
Understandable. Yeah, I probably asked a bit of a hard question there, but that's what we're here for,
It's all good.
Yeah, to plumb the depths of this subject, What about you, Landy? Who would you say is your favorite kind of design? That's like like after it's evolved over the games. Which one would you say is your favorite Black Mage design?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to be showing my bias and perhaps sound a little repetitive here, but first I just want to give, I guess, honorary mention to Vivi. I think there was something so incredible about taking that basic FF1 sprite design, bringing it into like what was at the time in PS1 modern day, really not changing anything about the design, and then creating a character that would become a fan favorite for decades to come.
Oh yeah.
So there's something so simple and perfect about Vivi's design or Daewoo from FF1 that I think it just hits all the right notes between the primary colors, the dark mysticism, the eyes that you could see through the shadows under the cap.
Oh, yeah.
So much good there. Second honorary mention. Lulu, for no other reason other than the skirt of belts. Now, I, for one, have always had the conspiracy theory that Tetsuya Nomura has a burner account on the internet, that he's crawling around Twitter, crawling around game forums. I've always believed this about him, and I think Lulu's skirt of belts is because he saw too many people saying, what's with all the belts that Nomura is putting on these characters? Why do all these characters in FF7 and FF8 have these belts? What's with all the belts? And I just think there was a part of him that just said, to hell with it. Y'all don't like belts? I'm giving you a whole skirt worth of belts.
Yeah.
And to his credit, Lulu is one of the most beloved Final Fantasy characters of all time. So again, there's something about the nerve to create an absurd skirt worth of belts on Lulu that I also champion like Vivi's simple design. However, to bring my bias full circle here, you just can't beat Y'shtola's like Shadowbringer's Black Mage dress.
Yeah.
The aura, the presence, the stuff. It's so perfect. And again, I'm a Y'shtola stan, so that seems to be a recurring theme here for me. But Y'shtola's let's just say Black Mage design to me is it's just perfect, and I hope it doesn't change for the rest of FF14's run.
Oh yeah, I hope not. I still need to actually finish Shadowbringers, but I have seen her black dress, and yeah, she looks regal as well. She looks like a mistress of the Black Arts, But,
right, like it's so perfect. Like it feels like it took a while for her to find her style. Like she's cycled between a few different outfits at the beginning of FF14. But man, once she's in that dress, it's like forget about it. She should just wear that forever. I don't care. Be like a cartoon character. Have 10 versions of the same outfit in your closet. Like that's it. That's it.
Oh yeah, and it's a funny thing as well. You said about Lulu as well, because it could even be said, right? It's not been confirmed, but it could be said that Lulu's outfit was a inspiration for Y'shtola's black dress, because Y'shtola, obviously she doesn't show like cleavage like Lulu does, but Y'shtola has obviously the fur on the black dress, she's got that fur, and Lulu has the fur around like her cleavage kind of area, and it's got some parts on the dress and that, so it could be seen that Lulu was maybe an inspiration for Y'shtola's design for Shadowbringers. And
Nomura's nerve strikes again, baby.
Yeah. You want belts, and now you get fur-lined dress. But no, and it's even like because she comes, she wears it in Shadowbringers, and even that with what I said earlier, with dark black mages are, they're more of a symbolize of the darkness of the world, how they're in balance with the white mages and that. Y'shtola wearing the dress in Shadowbringers could also add to the symbolism of that, just showing that she is the Black Mage of the Eorzea,
It's almost like her nerve to commit that again, not trying to give away too much, but to commit that taboo in the more Heavensward era. It's almost like that turned her to the dark. Not that she's not bad or malevolent by any means, but it's almost like by committing that taboo, it pushed her towards those dark magics, pushed her towards that darker aura. Like she's not, Montoya's troublemaker little student anymore. Like she's evolved into something else. And it's funny too. A little bit of a side topic. One thing I also love about Y'shtola is all the cat motifs.
Yeah.
Right? Her cat naps. She's clearly got a 9 lives thing going on, always escaping death at the last second. They're bit of a cat motif with her. She's not just a cat girl. She's kind of just a cat.
Yeah, and it just it adds in because obviously black cats are seen as a symbol of black magic, witches and that, for example. So yeah, it definitely adds into that. Definitely adds in. And there is something I want to say about Y'shtola as well, but I'll get into it with this topic when I start this topic now, because there's one thing that I've always wondered with black mages as well, and one thing that we could talk about as well. Black mages, again, like if they are in tune with the essence, they have all this power that they use from the world and the crystals and all that. As we know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So with all these powers, and you see, obviously they run out of MP, which is the drawback. But what if there's more drawbacks than you don't get shown? Like the black mages are being more affected by using this magic, like that's slowly corrupting them. With Donald in Kingdom Hearts, he uses Zeta Flare, it almost takes him out. There's that drawback of using that power of drawing on the magic of the world. And it's definitely seen where like a lot of the character black mages in Final Fantasy, like it's very possible that if they did that, maybe they would become corrupted, or the magic would kind of rebound. Yeah, sure.
I can interrupt you real quick. Again, showing my biases here. Sticking to Vivi, Lulu, and Y'shtola as my top 3 here. Well, the price of all this magic is clearly tolling Y'shtola. I don't want to spoil anything, but in the words of her master, the light from her eyes has vanished. Going into Vivi, without giving anything away, keep the end of the game in mind. You have to wonder, like, was Vivi going on that venture and conjuring all that power? Did that lead to where his fate ends up at the end of FF9 to a degree? And Lulu, maybe this is why Lulu walks away. Maybe this is why Lulu gives up being a warrior, being a black mage, to have a simple life in Besaid and just be a mom. Maybe it's because inevitably, by conjuring black magic, it can lead you to an unfortunate fate, or there is a price to be paid for doing so. And when I look at my top 3, I see 2 characters who keep it going, but are constantly sacrificing, constantly losing. And then I see 1 black mage who gave it all up and began to gain as opposed to lose.
Oh yeah. So there's definitely a lot of like potential loss of things, because a lot of Lulu is like she seems very cynical, it's very cynical or stoic and that, but it could also be because obviously magic is mental, it's mental, it's spiritual, it has that effect that you don't really see. So it could be said that maybe her emotions were slowly being drained as well, because there are many times where she's very stoic and she's dismissive of things, where it seems like she's not bothered, she doesn't care. So it could be said that black mages also get affected like mentally as well, or emotionally, or in their brain, or way their thing, like Y'shtola, she's the light leaves her eyes, it could very be said that using so much magic and the scale of it could be taking its toll, where she's hardening herself, like her heart is being hardened by this magic and the sheer pressure of it. And look in the chat, Ratford says, or she's just British reverse humor. You know what? No, that's very fair. Yes, us Brits are we're very cynical of our humor. Yeah, that's that. But yeah. So there is that potential drawback of is the magic taking more of a toll on its life, and it could even be said that maybe the magic itself, like with the Vivi thing, maybe the magic also saps the life force. Maybe it's very possible it could be sapping the life force. Like if the character is like very essence is made of magic, using that magic could be sapping their life force bit by bit. So there's a lot of like mystery and guesswork that you can say with black mages to be done with black mages. But there's also a lot of like potential what if this is the case, and it just adds it makes black mages look a way more mystical and just more in depth, like the whereas we plumb the mysteries of them. And going on with what I was saying about them. Oh, sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say, well, it makes me almost starve for more black mages, because now that you bring this up, and when I look around at like modern Final Fantasy, this sort of designing a character based on a class and like letting that character spiritually like embody that class seems to be something that's actually missing more from modern Final Fantasy. I mean, if I look at the most recent ones, 16, 15, 13, we're going to leave 14 out because it's an MMO
Yeah.
and it does adhere to sort of letting the characters class shape their identity. And, you know, part of being on the FF14 journey, both as a character and as the player, is you're going to change your class. You see it with your Warrior of Light. You see it with Thancred. You see it with Y'shtola. There's sort of this, you see it with Kryl. There's this evolution of class. And with that comes the evolution of the character. And when I look at modern FF, like whether it's 16, 15, or 13, there's no real identity based on class anymore. These characters are almost being shaped independently from what their powers are to a degree, right? In FF16, the design's based on what their icon was.
Yeah.
Right? Clive looks like Ifrit. Joshua looks like Phoenix. Jill looks like Shiva.
Yeah.
You know, so I can score points for that because it's based on something.
Yeah.
But you look at FF13, no one really has a dedicated class.
No.
In a sense, everyone has their weapon of choice. Same with FF15. Like there's like a weapon of choice, but almost like it almost seems like lately the designs and the characters' manifestation isn't class based anymore. It seems to either be more weapon based or in the unique circumstance of 16 is like summon or icon based.
Yeah.
And it's making me starve for like, where are these top down black mages that we used to get a lot? Whether, FF8 Renoa, FF9 Vivi, FF10 Lulu, FF11 Shantoto.
Yeah.
FF12, I don't think there's a dedicated black mage, but point still stands.
Yeah. I think in 12, it could be said that Fran is a dedicated black mage because she's the first person to get access to magic in because she comes equipped with fire. So it could be said that Fran's most like could be seen as the dedicated black mage. Obviously that can also be how you build her as well. But yeah, I think she's the first person who actually has access to fire. So it could be said that she's the dedicated black mage of that game. But yeah, even then, like, she's got like, she looks a bit like an archer, but she's still got, that black motif that, and her being a Vera as well, like that connection to the world, that connection to the essence of the world.
Hey, that's a good, full circle. That's a good point.
Oh yeah. Like there's yeah. So with the designs and that it's definitely like, there's a lot to be said. And it's like, and hopefully with the latest game we got, the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster or remake, however you look at it, I see it as more of a remake personally, but that's just me. Like, you've got the class, they bring the classes back where the characters change the class, and you stick the class. Hopefully this could potentially, hopefully influence Square Enix to bring the classes back, like you said, bring back class-based looks. Because I like the class of 13, don't get me wrong, but there was, and like you said, like weapons, there were slight, class things. You had lightning as the sort of like the kind of like commando kind of thing. You had, like snow as like, the knight kind of like the monk kind of guy. Fang as the dragoon. But yeah, like, there's definitely like a lack of like class-based things. And but yeah, moving on. Did you have anything? Sorry, you want to chime in with that as well, T-Shaw? Sorry, before I move on to the.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no. Honestly, yeah, you guys hit like it's pretty much everything. So.
No, that's fair enough. But yeah, because I said earlier about you just told us magic and all that. And then as you said, like Landy, you mentioned your Shantoto as well. That also could tie in as well because for those who've seen Shantoto, she's very arrogant. She's very haughty. She's very. Like, yeah, she's very, I'm the best, so forget the rest, like to do one of her rhyming things, which I'm not gonna lie, pisses me off because it's very annoying, personally. But yeah, like like there's definitely the potential of like like we said with like we were talking about like how they could influence the characters, like how they are as a person because they use magic a lot. It's very possible that maybe using so much black magic made maybe it corrupted Shantoto, made her personality a bit more arrogant than, that arrogance that she got, maybe she wasn't always arrogant. And yeah, like, so yeah, because and it definitely shows on the as well, series as well, because again, black magic is very powerful in the story. It's always been shown as very powerful. And again, death spells, bio, flare. But there's also spells that you can. There's also moments where the black mage is it, and you can see like the true power of the black mage, or the true power of magic, like the true like destructive, pure destructive, yeah, they're tapping into the essence of the world, but this is just pure destruction that they can unleash. One clear example for those who played it is, and I'm not going to use him as an example actually because, well, no, so I'll say it anyway. Vivi, he learns Doomsday, which literally brings down a meteor it's so powerful it hits both the party and the enemies. Like, you've got Lulu who can do multiple ultimas with her overdrive. Like you can do Ultima Fury. Like, so there's definitely a lot of power. And this isn't seen in 14, I don't believe, but in a side game, the mobile game Bravely Exvius, if you've gotten the Shadowbringers Y'shtola, her ultimate in that game, she literally raises herself on a column of earth, has fire, lightning, all the elements swirling around her in this big, massive storm of ether and magic, and she unleashes it in a big, massive, almighty blast that shockwaves around. Like, it really goes to show that like that black magic. Yeah, it can be used for, it can be used to support, or to to debuff enemies and that, but it is pure like destruction based, and you can really see like the awe-inspiring power behind it. So, and it begs the question. It also begs the question, like, out of all the classes, could this mean that black mages are the most powerful class in the series? What would you say to that, T? Would you, with all of this, what would you say black mages are the? Would you say black mages are the most powerful class in the series, or do you think otherwise?
Oh,
That's a really
honestly.
Good question. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Gosh, no, it is a really good question because, like, I feel like every class has its pros and its cons. Like, just with the fact of like Doomsday, like you said, Bahamut, gosh, and all like these ultra powerful spells like gravity magic and like time and just so many like uber powerful things that like other classes just have no access to whatsoever. It does stand out as them excuse me, having or being the like one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful class. However, just the only con to that is just that black mages are traditionally pretty frail. So I feel like you just like if you have like a really strong like knight or paladin or just like a big physical attacker and it takes down your mage, then it's just like what can you do there? But offensively, I would say yes, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful class. But on the defensive sort, nah, not really. But support, just kind of like going back to the VV thing from earlier, like that also puts them in a rank of their own. So I feel like it just depends on what the scenario is. Like if it's like the black mage is on his own and it's against a bunch of physical attackers, then not so much. But if you're putting the black mage in a party where just like it'll really stand out, and just the other party members will be attacked, then it's more so like they are one of the strongest, I would say.
Oh yeah, and you bring up some good points. Yeah, like how that they're more like they're not as great defensively and such. Yeah, so you bring up a good point there, and they're pure power, not so much defense and that. But what about you, Landy?
It's like a glass cannon. So it's just like a glass cannon, so to speak.
Oh yeah. But what about you, Landy? Would you say the black mages are the most powerful class, or what's your take on it?
Offensively, it's harder to find one more powerful. Especially if I use FF14 as a measure, because all the classes are sort of available. Black Mage offensively just is unstoppable. Boring to play as in 14, but unstoppable. But if I really, it's tough to beat Dark Knight all around. Like as an all-arounder, attack, defense, Dark Knight is a pretty tough one to beat.
Oh yeah.
But all around, I wouldn't say it's the most powerful, but strictly offensive speaking, absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah. They definitely like, they're definitely like, if not, if not the strongest, they're definitely like at least in the top 3 strongest with the power they can wield and just the the absolute just bull crap destruction they can do. So yeah, so black mages are definitely like. And they give a whole new way to play because they're not everyone. There's people who prefer the knight, for example. They try black mage and they go, oh, okay, this is actually a new way of playing. And even outside of Final Fantasy, black mages have influenced some games from Final Fantasy. They've influenced some games where magic and black magic has become more prevalent. Like the Bravely Default series, which Rat Forest just mentioned in chat about, it has great classes. It has the Black Mage spells from Final Fantasy, and it's got that influence. Yeah, it's made by Square Enix as well, but it's got that influence, So it definitely shows that Black Mages, there's a lot of like influence. There's a lot of like, a lot of influence, a lot of like, just a lot of ways that they could people other games can learn from and take from. Like, right, okay, this class is amazing. How and they work towards a story. So how could we do that? How could we make magic users appeal like black mages? Trying to think. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover with it. Well, I think we've spoken about black mages quite a bit. So I think it's time we get on to the question, the question that's on everyone's minds with this episode. Who is the most powerful black mage in the series? Now, of course, we've spoken about black mages who aren't specific. Like you got Daewoo, who is specific, but you got like the cast of 2, they're not specific. 3 and 5, they're not really specific. But like, I think it's safe to say from what we talk about, we can narrow it down to 4 characters. We've got Vivi, Lulu, Shantoto, and Y'shtola. We can narrow it down to those 4. Out of everything those characters can do, and then their unique abilities, their the sheer power they can do. It's hard to choose. It makes it hard to choose one of them. I'm gonna be biased. But this is it's part bias and part just looking at all the skills and that. I'm gonna be biased and in my opinion, it's Vivi. Just because of mostly Doomsday. Like, he is the Black Mage. He's literally a Black Mage, but his Doomsday spell is on such a level that its name is literally end of the world. Like, its name is pretty much the end. The end of all things. And then him being able to cut through reflect, basically nullify reflect, which no Black Mage has been able to do. Like, in my opinion, I would say Vivi's most powerful, but of course, obviously other people would disagree. But yeah, out of these four, Landy, obviously it's going to be obvious who you're probably going to pick, but who would you say is the most powerful based on like abilities and feats and all that?
So it's funny you say it's obvious who I'm going to pick because I don't think anyone could see where this one was going. Mm-hmm. Technically speaking, the most powerful black mage in Final Fantasy is the Warrior of Light from FF14. If you power up the Warrior of Light, who,
True.
in all due respect, is a Final Fantasy character
True.
and deserves to be treated as such, if you power him up all the way to level 100, that's the most powerful black mage in Final Fantasy history. However, if we were to put them aside, I'm sorry, it's Vivi. I want to create... Look, I have my biases. I want to sit here and tell you it's Y'shtola.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's Vivi. If it's not the Final Fantasy 14 Warrior of Light, it's Vivi. You could maybe make a case for Golbez as a villain, but even still, I would stick with Vivi. I wish I had something else to say because it seems obvious, but that's my take.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's understandable. Yeah, and I did include the Word of Light because obviously it's the MMO and that it's all based on how you build the character, how you build the character and how you play the character and that. So that's why I did include the Word of Light. Golbez I didn't include because you don't really see him use black magic that much. Like you see him use a few spells and that, but he mostly uses like his like is the like the attacks that he has in Dissidia, he mostly uses those and he attacks with his dragons and that. So that's why I didn't include Golbez. But no, he's definitely a strong black mage. But yeah, no, like yeah, no, I mean Vivi, yeah, definitely, like I said, and Vivi definitely has a lot of power. And I am surprised you didn't say Tola, but no, I can see why you didn't. Like, she is strong
I
in that,
wanted
but
to.
no,
I
understandable.
wanted to. I really did. But
No,
it's powerful as she is. It's just not true.
yeah, yeah, because obviously, like I said with Brave Exvius, the power she can wield, like pure, like a storm of magic. It's still like you put it against something like Doomsday, and it feels like it won't be able to do much. But who knows? Maybe Tisha will disagree. What would you about you, T? Who would, out of everything you've heard, all the black mages all the specific abilities and that, who would you say is the most powerful black mage in the series out of the four? To you?
Oh, it's very clearly teed. No, okay.
Damn, Titus, he's holding out on us.
Um,
Because what it is, we all know his laugh. His laugh is in fact a black mage spell.
exactly.
But no, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I do actually have like a side thing too.
Yeah.
Just super quick because I do agree with you guys. Yeah, it is Vivi. As much as my bias towards Renoa and just the power of the sorceresses, no, it's Vivi. I gotta agree with you guys 100%.
No.
But just this little side tangent that I wanted to go on. During my FF10 playthrough, I heard someone say, "Oh, Yuna is actually a stronger black mage than Lulu because she has a higher magic stat." So, and I tried it. I gave Yuna like a lot of like the Ga spells, and she was doing a lot.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, because she's also the summoner as well. So she's got more. She's got a better magic stat and all that as well. But no, yeah, that is funny.
You know what? No, it's Yuna. Yuna's the most powerful black mage by a nun.
You know what? No. All right, I'm gonna say it. You hit the trigger point. I'm going off. So I love Lulu, and I'm glad nobody here said Lulu because she's not even the most powerful black mage in her own game. She's 100% essential for the first 75% of the game, but the second Yuna can start learning black mage spells, she's completely obsolete. Yuna is a more powerful black mage than Lulu. I suppose that's my hot take for the episode.
No, that's definitely that's definitely that is definitely that's I would say that's definitely
that pains me too, by the way. That pains me. I take no joy in saying that. I don't like one of my favorite characters being completely obsolete in the end game, but that's just how it is.
No, that is fair.
Story, which is why again I love Lulu so much because it almost fits that she's phased out of the party by the end game. So it makes sense in the sequel. She lays down her arms and moves on to another life. There's the meta, bro, the meta.
And it's like with that as well. Like if you look into it deeper, it's very possible. Like you could see that as a symbol of, like I said earlier, the black mages, they start losing like life force or, they start sacrificing. It could be, you could see it as as the story goes on and you get that thing where Yuna becomes better with a black magic than Lulu. You could see it as Lulu's powers are weakening because she's using the black magic so much, it's costing her the ability to use them the more she uses them. So that's one way you could look at it as well, which definitely adds more to like the nuance of it, because black magic, it's always seen as, in all sorts of media, it's seen as a taboo, a forbidden art. And so stuff like that could be a good reason, of looking at it's forbidden because you have this cost of it, but I think I'm guessing Landy's changed his answer to Lulu, which is fair enough if he has. But like it's definitely a hard question to answer, and I also noticed how none of us said Shantoto either. Because everyone's just forgotten Shantoto, and honestly, for good reason. She's not that memorable. 11's a great game, but she's not that memorable compared to other characters. But no, does that? I take it. Does that mean you're changing your answer to Lulu, Landy, or does it you still on Team Vivi?
Oh, I'm still Team Vivi.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And you said Vivi as well, didn't you, T?
Yes.
Oh yeah. And yeah, so I think of all we discussed on that and all we talked about on that, I think I think it is safe to say like that yeah, Vivi's definitely always can be seen as the most powerful in the series, just because he is the Black Mage. He's got the design, he's got the power, he's got the story of it. And the fact that he, like black magic is seen as this all powerful art. You've got no defense against it. It's forbidden. It's corruption. But then you got Vivi. It's just like you want to do reflect? That's cute. Die. That Vivi's just like no. And it's also which is also scary because of the fact that his age is put as 8. So he's an 8-year-old capable of ending the world. It's like with Doomsday. So it's definitely like hell, and he even has the power to take out a planet. For those who know about the super boss, you know what I mean. He has the power to take someone out. But yeah, like I think we've touched upon a lot about with this subject, in today's episode. I think we've covered the Black Mages quite well. And I definitely would love to see, like Lanny said, bring back Black Mages and class specific, looking characters in future Final Fantasy installments. Like let's see more of the Black Mage. Let's see more in depth with like the essence of magic that the Black Mages invoke and all that. Is there any final points either of you want to add on before we start wrapping things up?
No, nothing I can think of.
Nope. I think we've covered everything I came in wanting to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's all right then. Yeah, so I think it's definitely say yeah, and hopefully some of you guys watching this maybe you guys will want to try Black Mages as well. Give it a try, see so you can experience the raw power of the Black Mage. But yeah, guys, all I can say is thank you guys for joining us, and I thank you Tisha and Landy for joining for this. I hope you guys enjoyed your time here as well on this show. And yeah, once again, thank you for being guests. I really appreciate it.
Dude,
thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for inviting me. This was fun.
No, man. I probably didn't go in depth as you do on your podcast, Landy, but hopefully I did a good job. But what's next for you guys? Like, what's next for you, T, stream wise?
I'll be live again on Monday. I'll be continuing Yakuza Like a Dragon, and just that's just next for me. So
that's good. And is it just Like a Dragon this week? Is it or next week, or is it?
Oh, you're talking about the whole week.
No, if you want to say the whole week, if you want to say the whole week, you
okay.
don't. If you just want to say one day, I'm just curious. Like, if you want to say just one day, that's up to you. Like, it's fine.
Just Yakuza Like a Dragon on Monday, Persona 3 Reload on Wednesday, and I'm going to be starting my spooky games. My spooky games, and I have one in mind that actually came out. It was made by a couple friends in the Kingdom Hearts community.
Ooh.
Gosh, if I can pull it up, please.
Yeah.
The Hallowed Garden.
Yeah, I know. I know the game you're on about. Yeah, hopefully you guys will check that out on itch as well. Made by the Radiant Gardeners, amazing streamers. Can we get a shout out for the Gardeners actually? So that people can go and check them out. Yeah, both amazing people. And hopefully that'll be a good Halloween game in that. And what about you, Landy? What's next? What's next at the lodge?
Well, the first thing is getting our internet fixed.
I've
had a bit of a stability issue when it comes to live streaming because, you guys who have been in the game long enough know how it is. Randomly, your ISP has an issue and a stream can't stabilize. But luckily, there's somebody coming here today, honestly, within the next 5-10 minutes. So once that's fixed, we're gonna get right back into podcasting about FF7,
Nice.
Kingdom Hearts, and things like Stellar Blade and Persona as well. Lots of stuff in the works, but got to get the internet back up and running.
Oh yeah, that's good then. So yeah, and make sure you check out both these guys, both amazing people, and honestly, both great guys. So yes, please go and check them out. And I hope you guys will join me for my next episode on the 4th of September, not September, November, where I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to talk about the Tomb Raider Survivor trilogy, and do they hold up to the original games? Because for those who don't know, the Survivor trilogy, 2013. Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider are Square Enix games. They're made by Square Enix, so not many people remember that. So I think next month I'm going to talk about those games, and I'm going to talk about, do they hold up to the original games, or do they fall short of the original games? But yeah, guys, all I can say is just thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. For those watching this on YouTube, I hope you will give me that. I hope you'll give that like and subscribe and check out my other content. If this is the first episode you're seeing, I hope you'll check out my other episodes on my YouTube channel where I talk about some interesting stuff. Last episode I spoke about Jack from Final Fantasy X and whether or not he is an abusive monster, or if he actually is more of an honorable man than people think. And hopefully you will check that out. But to everyone watching this on YouTube or Twitch, again, please go check these guys out. They are amazing people, and I hope you will join me for the next time, and we can delve more into the world of Square Enix games, and we can see where that journey takes us. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, whichever. And as always, may you ever walk in the light of the crystals. And take care, everyone.
Peace out, everyone.
Later, everybody.